Hello everyone and welcome to Play or Burn in Hell, and today I'm not playing a Facebook game, I'm playing a SNES game, and this is one of my favourite SNES games of all time, and it is Rock and Roll Racing. I love this game so much. So this isn't really a Play or Burn in Hell, this is literally me playing a game, really, for nostalgia's sake more than anything, because I love this game. I love the soundtrack, I love the characters. So like, you got Snake Sanders from Terror, Cyberhawk, my favourite character, he's Chewie, blatant Star Wars ripoff. Then you've got Katrina Lyons, this like cat lady thing. And Jake Badlands, yeah, the Mad Max style guy. Then Tarquin, yeah, I think they run out of names at this point. Who the hell calls a character Tarquin? He should be in like a cravat, I think. Anyway, I want to be Cyberhawk, who's my favourite guy. And let's see. I have yellow and. Nope, that one's $70,000. That was $18,000, and that was $18,000. I am going to go from the cheapest and nicest looking one, the Marauder. Yes. Buy equipment. This is like, this is ahead of its time. This game. You could buy equipment to customize your car. You can change your colours of your car. This is all before like Gran Turismo and all those sort of games, and I love it. I really do love this game. And listen to the soundtrack. It's brilliant. Okay, should have remembered where the controls were. There we go. Yes, the sound effects aren't great, but who cares about the sound effects when you've got the sound of the music going on? That's the thing that everyone wants to hear. And who can't help love a bit of Black Sabbath Paranoid, really? And I'm in first. I love it. You've even got the voiceover guy. It sounds so enthusiastic. The only problem I've got with this game is the controls, really. It's quite easy to control, but the floor is like ice. You slide all over the place. Really hasn't got, there's like no grip or traction at all. I think the only car or vehicle that ever had a good traction in any of these tracks was a hovercraft, and you couldn't really get that until you pretty much completed the game, had a bucket load of money, or used some of the cheat codes that are everywhere online. I should have tried it here, but I wanted to play this game from scratch, so there's no cheat codes here. But this is also ahead of its time in a way because of Grand Theft Auto, for instance. In Grand Theft Auto and Ridge Racer and things like that, you could get weaponry. Now, this game is 92, so this is years before some of those games. And you get to use lasers, there's mines, there's spikes as I keep driving over. There's loads of different icons and things to collect and pick up and use to customize your car, and also make your car a hell of a lot nastier to a degree. So yeah, I think it's ahead of its time in that context of you could destroy your competition rather than just carry on, beat them hands down from driving. So yes, right, already on to level 2. Let the carnage begin! Yeah, big of a pile up there. That's a dodgy metal special effects. Oh, I don't care. It's brilliant. I just love the colouring of this game. I just love the feel of this game. This was one of the very first... This is pretty much one of the very first games I actually owned. So, I have no idea what's just done there. It just seems to have frozen on me. Oh no! Don't know what happened there, it kind of froze. Technical difficulty there. So yeah, I love this game. Really, I do. It's just perfection for me. But yeah, very, very fond memories. I used to play. I played this. Was one of my first games I ever owned, because I never owned a NES. The first console I ever owned was a SNES, and whereas friends of mine used to play on the Mega Drive and the Master System, I was always a Nintendo guy. I think part of me still is a Nintendo guy. Well, there isn't really a Sega anymore. Most Sega games are owned by now by Nintendo. So, but yeah, I was a Nintendo guy back in the days when it mattered to be were you a Sega guy or a Nintendo guy, and also back in the days when 16-bit of power was the be and end all. When I remember when bits, it used to be a huge deal that the Super Nintendo was 16-bit, whereas the NES was only 8-bit. And then the Sega brought out the Sega CD and the other attachment, I can't for the life of me remember what it was, what went on top of the Mega Drive to make it a bit more powerful, the 32-bit version I think it was. And they really did try to... It was all a bit war, and Nintendo didn't ever seem to rise to it. It was a case of, you've got the Nintendo, Super Nintendo and the Nintendo, and then they didn't do anything. And unfortunately, they kind of went a bit downhill when you come to things like... I love the music. A bit of Blues Brothers. Fantastic. And this is my favourite level, by the way, of this game. One of my favourite levels in the beginning rounds. Yeah, there was a big Nintendo Nintendo seemed to concentrate more now on the DS's rather than... Let's be honest. The Wii isn't a console for gamers. I'm not really a gamer, but I know the difference between playing a Wii and an Xbox. An Xbox is for people who are gamers, who want to get the feel of a game, play a game, and enjoy a game. Whereas the Wii seems to be more orientated towards families. It's a let's gather around and wave sticks at each other. That's what the Wii is. And I think they kind of lost their way, because I think when Nintendo put their minds to it, they can really pull out the stops when it comes to consoles. With the Wii, I don't know what they were thinking. I think they were trying to get ahead of the game by having something that was interactive to that extent, but it just didn't really work to me. And you can tell by the fact that you can buy Wiis now second hand for like 30 quid, if not cheaper. So, yeah. Whereas, I must admit, after I got rid of the PS2, after I got rid of my SNES, I got a Sega Saturn, or as I like to call it, a Sega Shatten. That was crap. There was hardly any games of any note. The only games I had on it were Virtua Fighter 2, Daytona USA, and Sega Rally. And that was it. Nothing else was any good. So that was kind of boring and dull. And then after a Sega Saturn, I went and managed to pick up a PlayStation 2. And the PlayStation 2, I must admit, I loved, but that was purely because of the SmackDown games. I did pick up Sega before the Sega Saturn. Sorry, I had a N64, and that I thoroughly enjoyed, and I had the wrestling games for that as well. But yeah, the N64, Nintendo's last great console, I think. Before, I never played the Dreamcast, and so I can't make assumptions of that. So, or the GameCube, I think was Nintendo's. Either one I had never played, so I can't really judge. But as far as I'm aware, they didn't do too well, because you don't get a Nintendo console apart from a Wii anymore, and you've got PS4s coming out now. So there you go. But anyway, I hope everyone else is enjoying this, or if anyone had this game when they were growing up, I hope you remember this game with fond memories like I do. The music, even though the music is only made up of 4 tracks, I don't care. The 4 tracks are fantastic, and the 4 tracks make the game. I even think that between this game and my dad listening to Dire Straits and Queen got me into the kind of music I'm into nowadays, which is most forms of alternative rock and metal and things like that. So, but yeah, I generally think that this game is one of the reasons why I started to listen to proper music. So yes, there you go. This is Rock and Roll Racing. I love this game, always have, and I think I probably always will. So yeah, I hope everyone has enjoyed this, and I hope everyone's enjoyed having the memories of this sort of game, because I love it, and I think I'm always going to love it. So yes, I hope everyone out there enjoyed thoroughly this game, and I shall see you all later.